Someone who looks exactly like me. Where is the someone who knows my old past? A leg without any feeling. My feet are now completely devoid of a stench. How did they smell before? No. Is it necessary to remember something like that? Is it necessary for them to have a smell? That's it. I don't need actual feelings. What good will it do to search for my true self? What would I do if I remember how I once was? What are these homunculi anyway? What am I anyway? Homunculus, a distorted image of a person that shows the relative size of the areas of the brain that controls each body part. The size of each part in the image represents how much of the cerebral cortex is devoted to it, a map of priorities of how one's mind shapes the body. Sometimes you can sit there and just wait, and you start to mentally drift away for a while. You cut off everything around you, and looking down, you won't even know that you're here. In this state, do you even know if you exist anymore? Homunculus started me off with many questions in just a few panels. What if the mind, the essence of who we are, could be giving a physical form? What if we could see exactly what we think? You see, on days when I'm not posting content or making it, I sit and watch as the time goes by. It's 8 a.m., it's already past 5. Where did the time go? I lose track of time and everything around me. It's like sleeping. My hands, my feet, they feel like they're not even mine anymore. I sometimes debate if I'm really here at all. I know I'm here, but does my body belongs to me, or is it something else that's passing through time like everything else? Nikoshi, when he closed his eyes, couldn't help but wonder. When he closes his eyes, is he still him? Or am I just a collection of thoughts and impulses struggling to hold on to something that's slipping away? I don't know when Nikoshi started feeling this way, but it's terrifying to see. His problem would become the confusing yet intriguing, as I had a hard time detecting whether what he was seeing was real or a simple fragment of his imagination. And in the manga, Nikoshi brings up his surgery for seeing what he sees. The lobotomy in 1935 was introduced by a Portuguese neurologist, Antonio Egos. Was a procedure designed to sever connections in the brain's frontal lobe to treat mental illness. Initially praised as a breakthrough, it gained popularity in the 1940s and 50s. But it left many patients incapacitated, erasing their personalities and leaving them hollow. What was meant to be a revolutionary treatment became a chilling reminder of humanity's reckless pursuit of control over the mind. You see, in the world of homunculus, the boundaries between the physical and the mental blurs. And this haunting surgical practice finds eerie renaissance. It explores the same question the lobotomy once sought to answer. What happens when we delve too deep into the mind, tampering with what makes us whole? Here, the procedure works not as a cure, but as a catalyst, exposing a distorted reality that forces us to confront the terrifying fragilities of identity. The human psyche in homunculus is a fragile, uncharted labyrinth, and with each turn of the page it becomes clear that this story is less about finding answers and more about unraveling the unsettling depths of what it means to be human. At his heart lies Nikoshi, a man who neither living nor dead, existing in a liminal space where his life teeters on the edge of emptiness. It is at this emptiness that leads him into a grim experiment, a procedure inspired by an age-old lobotomy promising not just to alter his perception, but to reveal the hidden truths of human conditions. As the drill pieces Nikoshi's skull, it does more than distort his brain. It tears it open, the veil between reality and the subconsciousness. From that moment forward, His world became a distorted reflection of itself. People are no longer people. They are grotesque and beautiful homunculi, physical manifestations of their deepest fears, desires, and traumas. Each figure Nakoshi encounters is a window into the mind, a mirror held up to the darkness within all of us. You see, the brilliance of homunculus lies in the instance that the mind is not really just a tool but a battlefield. The homunculi that Nakoshi sees are not external creatures. They are a fragment of the psyche made flesh. A man wears his financial greed as a bloated, grotesque body. A woman, sexual trauma becomes an unhealing wound that she cannot hide. These images are not just disturbing, they are intimate. They force Nakoshi and us as the readers to confront the fact that pain, fear, and desire are not hidden inside of us. They shape how we exist in the world. Yet Nakoshi himself is not exempt from this scrutiny. His own mind, fractured and flayed, begins to sleep into his perception. He questions not just the people around him, but the fabric of his own identity. When he closes his eyes, does he cease to exist? Are the homunculi fragments of others' truth, or are they reflections of his own madness? The manga doesn't give us a definitive answer. It doesn't need to. Instead, it leaves us in the same agonizing space as Nakoshi, a space where reality is as unreliable as memory, and the self is as transit as thought. Figurative language of homunculus extends beyond its dialogue and panels. Its very structure feels like a descent into insanity. Pacing is methodical, almost surgical, mimicking the careful, deliberate cuts of a lobotomy. Its art style shifts from hyper-realistic to surreal, much like Nakoshi's perception. Even the space in the manga, the dark streets, the suffocating interior, it all feels alive, as if the world itself is part the experiment, folding in on itself as Nakoshi spirals deeper into his journey. At its core, the manga asks the question that has haunted humanity for centuries. What does it mean to be whole? Is wholeness the absence of pain, or is it the absence of being whole? Nakoshi's journey is not one of healing, but of exposure. The lobotomy does not cure him, it breaks him open, and in the breaking, he finds a terrible clarity, a clarity that is as freeing as it is damning. By the end of Homunculus, you and we're left with a choice. You could dismiss Nakoshi's visions as madness, as the fractured perceptions of a man undone by his own experiment, or you can accept them as the truth, a truth that reveals the horrifying, beautiful complexity of the human mind. Either way, the manga leaves its mark, like the procedure that began it all. Homunculus drills into your thoughts, leaving a scar that is impossible to ignore. It is not a story you read. It is a story you survive. And in surviving, you may find yourself asking the same questions Nakoshi did. When you look at the world, what do you truly see? And more terrifyingly, I'll leave you with this. What does the world see in you?